What happened in Edmonton's real estate market for the month of May? We're going to talk about that in this video. Hi, I'm Melody Wilson, a local Edmonton realtor here in our capital city of Alberta, and I just want to talk to you today about what is going on in Edmonton's real estate market and what's happening in the month of May. So in the month of May, we started to see the market a little bit more balanced than it has been in the months prior. It has been a very active real estate market. It still is, and we're already seeing in June, at the time of filming, market is already starting to balance out compared to February, March, April. So what is the stats saying right now? So in May, the listing absorption was just over 40%, which means that 40% of the listings that are actively on the market were absorbed, which means sold, and it took less time to sell a house than it did, let's say, last year when the listing absorption rate was a lot lower. If the listing absorption rate goes higher, it means you're more in a seller's market, lower you're in a buyer's market. Currently, we're sitting in a balanced market according to statistics, but in the real world, we're still sitting in a bit of a higher seller's market. It is more balanced. It's not as much in favor of the sellers anymore. We're starting to see buyers have a little bit of negotiation room, and we're starting to see sellers have to give in order to make a deal happen. Now, if you take a look at the average price of single-family homes in Edmonton, you will see that they have increased month over month and year over year. And if you take a look at the year over year increase, it's actually quite substantial. It's around $50,000 higher. So we've seen a significant change in price in Edmonton's real estate market. Now, if you take a look back all the way to 2012, you'll see that the average price for single-family homes was just under $400,000, and now we are sitting just at $459,000, and so you'll see that that is a significant change. It's about $60,000 in the last 10 years. So if you're thinking if you should buy or invest in real estate, of course we've had our ups and downs in the last 10 years, but when you're investing in the single-family home market, you're investing for a long-term equity gain. Now, in terms of other provinces, if you're comparing us to BC or Ontario, we definitely don't have that same type of equity growth, but it's still better than putting money into a rental versus just investing in the home that you're currently living in. So with interest rates as low as they still continue to be, we're still seeing a lot of sold properties in our market. This is the time of year where people are trying to get into the market before it's summer so they can enjoy the summer weather and enjoy not being stuck at home. We're also seeing people wanting to move and organize this before school starts in September, so they may be purchasing the home now and moving in August, and we're seeing this happening for the month of May and June, and in July it gets a little bit more rushed to be getting possession in August. So we're going to see a little bit of an influx probably in terms of buyers being motivated to get moving on that property. So if you take a look at the active listings, we are up month over month, a little bit lower than last year, and we are up in sales month over month as well. If you kind of look at the stat how high are we year over year from last year for sales? We're over 148% in sales for May, and in listings, active listings, we're down. So if you take a look at that discrepancy, that is a huge indicator of a seller's market, and that's why May was still a very strong real estate market. Even though it wasn't maybe as crazy as it has been, it's definitely holding very strong. I'd be interested to see the numbers for June because June seems to be a bit quieter. To see on paper if that's the case or not will be very interesting. So for the month of May, we continue to move quickly because the average days on market is now under 30 days. It is at 27 days on market. And if you take a quick look at last year, we were at 60 days on market. I mean, we were already starting to see some change because May was the beginning of the first breaking out of being locked down in April. But it was quite high last year because we were in a buyer's market and a recession economy. So now we're seeing under 30 days on market. 27 days on market is what is happening for the month of May. It'll probably stay quite similar for June is my guess. Even for our team, we've noticed that our average days on market when it was 60, it was always 30. And now we're seeing that in the average days on market for 30, we're seeing our average days on market be about 50% of that, which is about 2 weeks. So no big surprise, the average price that's being sold is between the $300,000 to $400,000 price range, and then the next popular one is $400,000 to $500,000. Something interesting to note is that there's just over 100 homes this year sold over $1 million in Edmonton. That is a very good sign for a recovering market, a strong market. People are spending money, and of course there's people spending money between $500 and $1 million. It's just that there's not as much activity in the, as if you were in the $300,000 to $500,000 price range. So what does that mean for you if you're spending that kind of money? It means that there's less sales, which means less competition. However, we also notice there's less active options as well. So you kind of have to take a look at what are you looking for. Likely, if you're looking in that price range, you're probably looking at the bigger homes, or you're looking at an area close to the river valley, which is always in high demand. So you need to make sure that you're seeking professional guidance from your realtor to make sure that we have a plan in place to make sure you still get the best deal, and as a seller, that make sure that we are marketing your home at the best it possibly can. Don't just throw your home on the market because you figure it's a busy market, it's going to sell anyways. Why not? Why leave money on the table? Make sure that you prepare your home and have our team help you make sure that you're maximizing everything. If you have any questions, as always, you can always reach me down below, and we'll talk to you next month.